Steven with Parts Doctor. I'm going to show you how to replace the drum light in the Samsung dryer. We'll need a few different tools for the job. We'll leave those listed in the description below. Let's get started. The reason you would need to replace the light is if it goes out and no longer works. For this repair, unplug or disconnect power to the dryer. Also, be careful as you'll be working around sharp edges. Depending on your skill set, you may be able to access and remove the light with just the removal of the top cover and control panel. But for instruction purposes in this video, and for those who find it difficult to remove the light from the top, we will remove the top cover, the control panel, and the front frame assembly to make it easier to access. We will also be removing the door to make handling the frame a little easier. To remove the top cover, we need access to the back of the dryer to remove the 2 screws. Next, place your foot at the bottom of the dryer, place your hands on the top, and pull towards you until the top cover releases. This may require some force. Now, remove these 4 Phillips screws. Next, gently lift up on the control panel to release it, then tilt forward, being careful as it's still connected by wires. Then, remove the 2 electrical connectors by depressing the locking tab, gently wiggling until it releases, and remove the wires from the retainers. Once the wires are removed, you can separate the control panel from the chassis. The drum light is located here. Now, if you're unable to get access to the light from here, we will continue tearing down the dryer. Otherwise, skip ahead to the light removal timestamp in the description below. Next, remove these 2 Phillips screws to remove the door. Then, firmly grasp the door and lift up and out to remove. Now, remove these 4 screws. Next, remove these 2 Phillips screws beneath the door opening. Now, lift up on the panel to release it from these 2 retaining tabs, being careful as it's still connected to the door switch wire. Disconnect the wire by wiggling and pulling until it releases. Then, lift up on the panel assembly to release it from the chassis. To remove the light, depress the 2 locking tabs and press down until it releases. With the light released, slide it out. Then, use your finger to push out the lens cap and remove the grommet. Now, remove the wire from the retainer. If you have a bad drum light and you need to purchase a new one, you can check out our website, partsdoctor.com. We'll leave a link in the description below. You want to make sure you're searching with the model number from the tag on your dryer to make sure you get the correct part. To install, make sure the flat edge on the lens cap and the flat edge on the grommet line up. Insert the grommet until it seats properly. Then insert the lens cap and press until it sits back in place. Next, insert the light with the plus pointing towards the top of the dryer and press until it snaps back in place. Next, feed the wire through the opening and into the retainer. To install the front panel, start by aligning the slots on the panel with the tabs on the chassis. Then, tilt the panel up and reinstall the door switch wire by aligning and pushing until it seats back in place. Make sure the wires don't get pinched between the front panel and chassis. Then, push the panel until it seats back in place. Then, reinstall the 6 screws. With the hinge swung outward, we'll first need to start by aligning this screw with this opening and set the door in place. Then, reinstall the 2 screws. To install the control panel, start by inserting the tabs on the panel into the openings on the chassis. Now, reconnect the 2 electrical connectors by aligning, pushing till they snap in place, and reinstall the wires into the retainers. Then, tilt the control panel back in place and reinstall the 4 screws. To reinstall the top cover, make sure the rear of it, which is noted by the gray pieces, is facing the rear of the dryer. Align the top cover guides to the opening in the top cover. Continue to push forward until it locks back in place. Next, reinstall the 2 screws. With everything put back together, plug the dryer in and test it out to make sure everything's working properly. So that's it for this video. If you learned something new, hit that like button, and if you enjoy fixing things, please consider subscribing.